Got a lot of news to get to here on Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Justin Fields suffers a toe injury. Looked like a major scare early. Doesn't look as scary now. We'll break that all down. Keenan Allen, is he going to sign with a team soon? We have an update on him. And Joe Burrow sounds off on the Bengals holdouts with Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart. So we'll get to all that coming up here on today's show. Listen, we have an Instagram page for Four Verts. It's at Four Verts IG. That is the handle if you want more short form NFL content, updates, things going on around the NFL. And my DMs are open. All you got to do is follow me and DM me your NFL question. I'd love to do a Four Verts mailbag here on the channel at some point in the near future. At Four Verts IG, give me a follow. DMs are wide open. NFL questions, fire in those DMs. Okay. Justin Fields' injury. Left practice today and was diagnosed with the dislocated toe. Here was rap sheet with the update well after practice. They ran some x-rays initially, and they determined that it's a dislocated non-big toe, so probably a good thing it's not the big toe. Fits into the category of an injury that could have been a lot worse, but plenty of info still to gather. Sounds like they're going to run an MRI as well, see if there's any, like a torn tendon or something like that. It sounds like he got stepped on, which caused, if it was a 300-pound lineman, probably felt a lot of pain initially, limped off the field, then it got carted off. And look, I still think this is noteworthy because Fields' mobility is vital to his game. If he's limited in how much he can move, that obviously changes how effective he can be as the Jets quarterback. Now, you've got almost 7 weeks until week 1, so it's not a huge concern. By the way, I just want to mention this as well before we get to Pro Football Doc. We've got to do a better job, and by we, I mean these reporters on site, of describing someone who gets carted off the field, because there is a major difference between someone who is down for several minutes, they bring the cart out onto the playing field and cart him off, versus, okay, guy limped off the field, got checked out on the sideline, and then hopped in a cart, and they took him to the locker room. This happens every year in camp, and I was like, oh my God, he got carted off. It's like, well, did he get carted off, or did he ride in a cart so he didn't have to walk off the field? Because that's two completely different things, but that's neither here nor there. Pro Football Doc, who's pretty good with this stuff, former Chargers team doctor, said that not seeing this as season-ending or long-term. In fact, I expect his availability soon, well ahead of week 1. So that's a good sign. Sounds like, you would have thought that he ripped his Achilles based on the initial freakouts there at Jets camp, but certainly don't like to see any injuries. But sounds like this is more on the, well, maybe we dodged a bullet here. This isn't too serious if you are the Jets at this point in time. So I'm sure we'll get more info soon. I would guess he's day-to-day, week-to-week, and we'll be back out there very, very quickly. How many games do you guys think the Jets are winning this year? I do think the AFC East, after the Bills, that second spot in the division is kind of up for grabs between the Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. I like Aaron Glenn and his intensity. I could see them winning like 7 games, being a scrappy 7-win team. What say you? Drop a number down in the comments section. Okay, Jordan Schultz had an update on Keenan Allen that I wanted to get into. He said one of the top remaining players in free agency has drawn interest in recent weeks from multiple teams. My understanding is he's been waiting for training camps to open to better assess the landscape and get a clearer picture of each team's wide receiver situation. Now, Keenan Allen, still a solid player. His production certainly dipped last year in Chicago, didn't play his best. He's not going to give you a ton after the catch at this point in his career, but his route running and his ability to still separate despite not being very fast out of the slot is still there. I watched it all last season. I think he could still be a very good wide receiver 3 for a team and kind of a low middle end wide receiver 2, depending on a team's structure and setup. He's not a 1 anymore, but he's certainly still a player worthy of, being on a roster and starting on a 3 deep wide receiver room. I think a few teams stand out to me. The 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, doesn't sound like he's close to returning. They just had one of their Jacob Cowan got banged up in practice yesterday as well. They recently signed Equinemius St. Brown. Keenan Allen's obviously better than him, so they have some issues at receiver right now. The Cardinals, he said he'd like to be back on the West Coast. They've got Michael Wilson there with Marvin Harrison Jr. They don't have a true slot guy that I love, so you could put him in there. The Raiders. Trey Tucker plays a lot of slot. He's got some speed. Could you kind of make that work? That would be an interesting fit. The Chargers, with Mike Williams retiring, there were a chance at Chargers training camp. Bring back Keenan. Now, they've got Quentin Johnston, who's had a good start to camp, Ladd McConkey, who's looked great as well, and they drafted Trey Harris. So, is he going to be their fourth guy? It could be a scenario where if Trey Harris isn't quite ready toward the middle into camp, that kind of becomes obvious, and they're like, okay, let's bring in Keenan Allen and have Trey kind of be our fourth guy as a rookie. That maybe, I don't think he would sign there soon. And then the Steelers. It doesn't sound like he wants to be on the East Coast, but if they can sell him on a wide receiver 2 role after DK Metcalf play with Aaron Rodgers, maybe that's appealing enough for him to do it on a 1-year deal. But it sounds like Keenan Allen is gaining interest and could sign in the near future. Okay, subscribe to us here at 4 Verts. Training camps are ongoing, so we have full coverage of everything happening. If injuries pop up, notable ones, we will break those down like the Justin Fields one today. We, of course, will react to any major breaking news. If we get a contract resolve with Trey Hendrickson, Shemar Stewart, Micah Parsons, whatever, I'll give my takes on that. Trying to get to 11,000 subscribers as soon as possible. All of this and much more coming your way on a daily basis throughout the rest of the offseason and on into week 1. Okay, Joe Burrow was asked when he spoke to the media for the first time at training camp about just the offseason drama, the holdout situations with Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart, and here's what he had to say. He said, it's obviously disappointing. You'd like to have all your guys there on day 1 to try and build that cohesion that I was talking about earlier, but that's not how it usually works out. It is a business. Nobody's ever going to fault the player for doing business how he feels he needs to. It's a cutthroat business. You got to fight for everything you can get. That's how it goes. The earlier you get these things done, the better. And I just, I think Burrow's in a little bit of a tough spot here because his 2 guys on offense got paid. So he can't go out there and just like whine and bitch about it, right? It's like, look, man, they did make Jamar Chase the highest paid receiver in NFL history. They did get T. Higgins locked in as well. But there's just got to be a part of Burrow deep down that's just like, man, can I just overcome this organization and win a Super Bowl here? They obviously made a Super Bowl 4 years ago, but when you're historically cheap and you let key guys go and you are just, hanging on to these little like unnecessary details in this Shemar Stewart contract, and you're offering Trey Hendrickson 1 year of guaranteed money when all his peers got 3, it's just like, God, it's like, it's a lot to over. I mean, Joe Burrow had an insane season last year. They couldn't make the playoffs. It just seems like they can't get out of their own way sometimes in a lot of these situations, especially like the Shemar Stewart one. It's like, why is the owner bringing up like the crazy scenario of like, what if, if a player gets arrested, his money could still be guaranteed? And it's like, dude, like, so you're just assuming the worst out of the guy you drafted? Like, I don't know how else to respond to that. So certainly we'll see where that goes. I guess I would say Hendrickson, that's going to get done at some point, but he's down in Florida right now. The Stewart thing, I have no feel on right now, so that thing's kind of up in the air at this point in time. I do like this from the Bengals. They're going to take a new approach to the preseason. Zach Taylor said that Burrow and other starters will play more than ever in the preseason. I think Burrow's thrown like 8 career passes in the preseason. Like, they haven't played him hardly at all, especially after he tore his ACL his rookie year. They've just been very cautious there. But what's been a consistent theme with Cincinnati? They've come out of the gates very slow, and it's cost them. Last year, they would have made the playoffs if they simply beat the Patriots in week 1, a.k.a. one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, they lost to Gerard Mayo and Jacoby Brissett in week 1, and ultimately started 0-3 and finished 9-8, but it was just too late. You just can't start these first months this slow. And in his 6 seasons as the team's quarterback, Joe Burrow, they've only got above 500 once. In 2021, that was the year they went to the Super Bowl, by the way. I think they won 12 games, got the 2 or 3 seed in the AFC, so it really paid off. They went 3-1, but 1-2-1 his first year, 2-2 year 3, 1-3 the last couple of years, 8-11-1 in the first 4 games of his first 6 seasons of his career. I won't say you got to go 4-0 in September, but we got to do better than 1-3. So, I don't blame Zach Taylor for mixing it up because it's been an issue. They have come out of these seasons way too slow. And this year, I mean, you look at those first 2 games at the Browns, Jags at home, like, you just got to get those. I mean, period, end of story. You can't be losing to Cleveland. Jags could be interesting, but you get them at home. That's a game you should win. And then if you split the next 2, okay, you're 3-1. You're feeling good about how you come out of the gates. And I know I've kind of been saying I'm kind of selling this team this year, but they should still be at least average to above average because the offense is going to be awesome with Burrow and those receivers. But you got an opportunity to stack a few wins early, and so I do think this is a good approach by Zach Taylor. Will the Bengals make the playoffs this year? That's a different story. Not sure the defense can be good enough. Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to this episode of For Verts. We will be back very, very soon with more coverage. Stay tuned.